Commerce, all of these people have opened up their hearts and their minds, and many of them their pockets, to make sure that we bring this project to fruition. And it all began with Pastor C and Dan Wagner having a conversation about the importance of having the vision of Dr. King met. And so now that we know that, again, our Reverend Jesse Jackson is stepping down, we must look in the mirror and find out what it is that we'd like our grandchildren to know about us once this life is done and over with. And I would like to say that I'm very impressed with all the sponsors and the donors and the participants who find it necessary to bring back such an important event. Dr. King was about the Poor People's Campaign. And as I said earlier, it has no face. The bottom line is, what can we do to come in unity? Our church theory and motto lately has been about Harambe, all of us uniting together for a common cause, for the health, welfare for all in our communities. Because without public safety, we cannot survive, no matter what our status is, how well we're living, or anything else, unless we all come up to one accord with one another and have that genuine love, as Dr. Mosley always emphasized, that loving each other as our neighbors is very important. And so I'm so glad and so honored and so blessed to see all of you here today. And without any further ado, I would like to bring Dan Wagner up to explain to you what this all encompasses, because of the fact that we know that there is a need in every community, not just Chicago, but also right out here in Dupage County. I am a product of public aid at one time, a 16-year-old mother who didn't know how I would make it someday. And by only the grace of God is why I'm standing before you here today. Have worked with 4 attorney generals, 4 mayors, and have had 2 homes in my lifetime, because someone saw me and felt the need to help me become and to grow and to become a product of society that would be significant to others. And that's why I love the Lord, because out of 16 children, he brought me a very mighty long ways. And I praise him for that. And so I would be remiss not to reach back and at least look at others in the community and to give back what God has so graciously gave me. And having a pastor such that I have, to watch her grow in her era of coming up in an industry where women were not popular. It is amazing to be under her leadership to serve. And so that's what Dupage AME Church is all about. And that is what we want our community to be all about. We're looking at transitional parents. We're looking at children who have been misplaced out here from, yes, many areas of Chicago, the city of Chicago. They come from Africa. They come from all nations who have been displaced out here, who need help. Then we have the disabled, who is not understood, whether they are artistic or if they are whatever the case may be, misunderstood because of lack of education. And now we have other children who are coming up out here who need a hand up out of these transitional homes. We don't want to send them back the same way they came. And so when I see these many faces and races standing here today, acknowledging that they want to give their support to such a very significant event, then I am ready and willing to put my name on the line, my reputation on the line. Because I was made when I came from Chicago out here, and I always ask God, why did you send me such a far place? And he said, I needed you in the wilderness. And with that being said, I wake up every day asking for him to give me the strength and also the rest, Pastor C. The 8-count rest in order to pursue this life that I'm living, because I feel like I'm blessed. So with no further ado, I'd like to have Mr. Dan Wagner from Inland Steel to come up and explain to you the wonderful project that he has so desired to complete. As his wife has said, for 3 years, he's been waiting to unite people. And I think you've done it today, Dan. And so I'd like you to give him a round of applause. Thank you.
Well, I gotta tell you, my heart is incredibly full right now. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I gotta get a picture for my social media post. Proud of it, I got you in there. Oh, yes. All right. The thing that's true is that so many of you are friends, and so many of you have become my friends, and we're all becoming friends. Incredible honor, Caleb. You're a great kid. Pastor C and the Dupage A&D Church, thank you for your hospitality. Bailey Catering, what a wonderful job. Where's our chef? Where's Robert Bailey? You know, thank you guys so much for the wonderful food that you prepared for us, and we're so grateful. And what an incredible person that I have become. I call her my sister now. Regina Brent is someone who I absolutely love and admire, and just can't thank God for someone who is doing God's work every day. Unbelievable. So, what's going on? So this thing that started in February, where we had 25 people, we first met with Dr. Carroll, and he said, Dan, you can't do a Martin Luther King event with a bunch of white guys. Okay, that makes sense. So we brought together this group of about 25 people. That group has grown to where I'm proud to say every week I'm getting calls. We're at 170 people now, which is just so exciting. We have everybody that, one of the things that Operation Push thought was so cool is that they've never seen this diverse of a group. We have every nonprofit organization you can imagine. We have community leaders. We have business leaders, chamber of commerce leaders, doctors, lawyers, across the board, all coming together to work towards the goal of trying to create this beloved community that Dr. King so talked about. And we were also very blessed to have Dr. Reverend Wilson come and speak to us in April and challenge us all to read the book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community. And we know that we went to, in June, we went to the neighbor settlement where Dr. Mosley was able to help us walk through that wonderful book. And the things I learned, it was the first time I've read anything from Dr. King. I knew his speech, but I got to learn so much more. And that helped really act as a centerboard for kind of what we're doing with this ship that we're going towards. And that's for the beloved community. But let me tell you, we have groups and groups that are excited about working with us and growing with us. So the next thing that you should put on your calendar is August 17th. We're going to the Mexican Cultural Arts Center in West Chicago. And Inland is going to pay for authentic Mexican cuisine. We're going to have it catered. So it's all about eating, right? So if you're around Dan Wagner, you're going to know it's all about eating. So, but we're going to have a Mexican cultural art. We're going to be talking about important issues related to the Latino population of Dupage County. And I know that we're going to have, well, Bella, you're going to be one of the leaders there, which is really terrific, so thank you very much. But we're excited about August 17th and getting out to West Chicago, going to different places around Dupage County. The next place we're going to go after that is the Mecca Center in Willowbrook. They are going to host us, and we're going to have an authentic Middle Eastern dinner. Another food theme, again, food theme. So you're going to, after this whole experience, you're going to really have a really good understanding of the different palates around the world, which is a whole other, like, positive thing. Yeah. Then we're going to go to the Hindu temple in Bartlett, which was all the stones were shipped over here. They had special holy people that came, and they put this thing together, all hand put together. It's like you walk into India. It will blow your absolute mind. It is so cool. I have a meeting actually tomorrow to verify the date. I don't have the date yet. There's the Diwali is going to be in November, so it's Octoberish, Novemberish. Then, you know, one of the reasons why you kind of know things are going well, when Robert McCormick Foundation heard about what we're doing, they were blown away. And when they saw the diversity of all the different walks of life that are involved in this, they said, we want to celebrate all of you. So the Robert McCormick Foundation is celebrating all of you by hosting a holiday breakfast as a way to say thank you for donating your time and energy to make this happen. And then they just spent, I think, $15 million restoring the mansion at Cantini, and they're going to have it all decked out for Christmas, and they want to give us the first tour of that. So it's a really cool experience for all of us to be able to come together, and they have waffles, and their breakfast will blow your mind. It's just, really good food. But January 15th, this is where the rubber hits the road. So when people say, okay, where's the rubber hit the road? Couple things. We're working on this incredible list of pillars of Dr. King from his book, and we're going to identify those pillars, and then we're going to ask all of you if you would volunteer for one of the pillars that interests you the most, and then we're going to have that group create their own chairpersons of that committee, and then from there, we're going to have a meeting once a year for that group. And like we've been doing, for like we're going to the Mexican Art Center, we're going to the Mecca Center in Willowbrook. That's going to happen throughout the years. So, for example, the disability community, they are like, why are we showing up at this stuff? I'm like, because Dr. King said everybody, not just 99% of the people, but 100% of the people are equal. So, an example of that, my son Danny was at college in Dupage at an ethics class. And at the ethics class, they said, hey, if your wife was pregnant and you found out that your child was disabled, would you have an abortion? Everybody in the class stood up and said, absolutely, of course you would. Why would you ever have a special needs kid? Our son Danny stood up and said, wait a second, everybody. I have a brother, John, who has autism, and he is such a blessing and has given so much to our family. And these very nice people, I'm not condemning them, they just are not educated on that. They're not aware of the importance of that. And so it's important, that one example is a great example to show how far we are on the disability area we have to come for Dupage. And then talk about older folks. There's people with the Alzheimer's Association that are excited to be a part of this. So, I mean, every single area, we're not just looking at, just one race, we're not looking at two races, we're looking at everything, religion, across the board. So it's really a dynamic thing. People around the country this is what Dr. Wilson said, they've never really seen this before. So it's going to depends on what your time and availability is, but that's the goal that we're going to be doing. But, January 15th, we've identified that it's going to be $75 a person at Drury Lane. Drury Lane holds 1,000 people. That pays for the food, for the audiovisual, for the speaker, and all the details of that event is $75. We are going to have sponsorships, and any money that's made at this event now and forever is going to go to a fund that Mr. Dan Goodwin and the Inland Real Estate Group just established this week. And that was the big announcement, so you know. So the Inland Real Estate Group, Dan Goodwin, created the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Fund of Dupage Foundation. And that is what we're going to be able to really do when the rubber hits the road. So I told Regina, okay, Regina, my job is to raise you the money, and your job is to give it away. So I'll let her talk about the give it away part. but that's the big stuff that we're doing. So remember the dates that we need you to be at. Remember, this isn't a one and done thing. It all depends on your time, and it's growing and growing. We don't want to put a ceiling on top and say, well, what are you going to do? How is that going to happen? When we started in February, we had no idea how this was going to grow. This is a total God thing. Some people are saying, is this a political thing? Is it what? No, it's a God thing. We're all working together, and we have a vision to work together. We have the realtors involved. We have the lawyers. We have tons of people all around. Bob Berlin's here, our state's attorney. Amber Quirk is our regional superintendent of education. We have lots of folks who are engaged, and we are going to ask all the political folks to donate as much as they possibly can on January 15th. But so that's the goal, is to get as much money in this account as possible. And we'd like to eventually, every year from this Dr. King event, we'd like to build that fund up to millions of dollars, because we want to be able to have that, be able to be given out to all the important needs of DuPage County. Because people, you understand, recognize that DuPage is this really blessed community, but there are people that absolutely go hungry, have issues in DuPage, and that's, I think, what Regina's going to talk about now. But thank you all very much, and eat as much as you want.
Thank you, David. Thank you. So you get a grant, and you get a grant, and you get a grant. No, that's not the way. That's not exactly the way this is going to work. There will be a criteria we must follow under the DuPage Foundation. And until we get a good understanding as to how that would happen, you will be notified as soon as possible. I'd just like to say that Dr. King, sister-in-law, we're trying to appeal to her to come back to Chicago once again on January 15th. So we're looking forward to bringing her in as one of the guest speakers. And it would be Dr. Carroll as well would be our speaker. And we're asking for blended choirs to also appear, including DuPage AME Choir. We're asking Miss Judith Roberts to do the interfaith with the clergy on that day for that event. We're asking Miss Stovall to assist with the choirs, since she's a wonderful singer and she participates a lot. And I think it's going to be, one of the choirs may be out of Oak Brook, but Christ Church of DuPage. They came and they sung with us once before here at DuPage. I would be remiss not to have Dr. Mosley stand. We need to give her a round of applause for facilitating the book Where Do We Go From Here by Dr. King. Thank you so much for that. As we said before, this money will go to the needs of basically the youth, because they're our future. And I'm very concerned. I need them to pay into my Social Security. And it is important that they continue to receive education, that they continue to have a voice in our community. It is imperative that we understand where they are. We have to meet them where they are today. And without doing that, leaves us abreast of high crime, things that they don't need to be involved in. And we need to help them pursue their careers as well. So we're talking about transitional things as far as collegiate scholarships and Trump parties and awareness when it comes to law enforcement. As you said, we have the State's Attorney of DuPage County, Mr. Bob Berlin, who has been very supportive of our organization of Unity Partnership. And that is why I think today that our community is as safe as it is, because it is understood. It is understood that crime takes place everywhere, and it may take place here, but it is an assurance that it will never happen again once our law enforcement officers pursue the situation. But we also know there are problems within the community when it comes to law enforcement, and that is why it is so important to have a pillar under the MLK regarding law enforcement, how to get home safe when you're detained by police officers in any community, just not DuPage, but in all communities. So we need to educate the public, because that's a public safety concern when you are black and brown. And when you are being detained while walking while black, talking while black, driving while black. The other thing would be education. Dr. Mosley is very concerned about education. There is no secret, the pastor spoke about it today. It's issues with us, our history being banned. I just came back from Mobile, Alabama. I want you to know that Mr. Kamal Siddiqui, the dive master that was here for Black History Month in reference to the Clotilda, the last slave ship that landed in the U.S. That museum opened last week, and I was there to witness the ribbon cutting. And so we want to thank him and send him our love, appreciation, and support for what he did to find that ship. And it's happening all over the world. So as the pastor reiterated this morning, we have a lot of issues that we must concern, not as a race, but as the human race. And I think that's why you're here today, because of the human race. And where we have to focus a lot of times on black and brown lives. There are Caucasian people who are very concerned about us, the reason why this breakfast is being launched again. And so with your help, your support, your input, your comments, your suggestions, we're going to need you to come and hang out with us at these meetings so that we can decide as a community how this money will be dispersed. And as I said, I have a reputation I plan to leave with as I came with, which is a good reputation. And I am going to be there watching and waiting to hear how we're going to impact someone's life. Whereas in 2025, Dan, they will come back to that breakfast and they will say, thank you, Martin Luther King community, for what you've done for me. So I'm not going to detain you any longer. Thank you so much. I love you, and God bless you.
Pastor C, you have the floor.
Yes, just before you leave, again, let me thank each and every one of you for being here. We are so grateful to Mr. Wagner for his vision, grateful to this committee for being a part, and certainly grateful to each and every one of you for coming and worshiping with us at Dupage. Grateful to the Dupage family for opening our arms, and certainly to our caterer of the house, Chef Bailey. Now, he was in here. Okay, well, we can give him a hand in his absence. Bailey Catering, he is the chef owner of Bailey's Catering, located in Bolingbrook, but is our preferred caterer here at Dupage. So I jokingly said to Mr. Wagner in a very serious way, I saw the email that said we would have fruit and muffins for you. And then I saw that we were going to all of these different places and experiencing authentic experiences. And so my CFO and I called Bailey and said, you need to do it our way, amen. So we hope that you've enjoyed the food, the fellowship, and the worship. God bless.